Test, test.
All right, good evening, everybody. This is a special meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape May, New Jersey. We're here in the Cape May City Hall Auditorium. It is Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022 at 5 p.m. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Under the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and the Press of Atlantic City, and a copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council and posted on the Cape May City website and Cape May City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that Cape May City Council meetings are audio recorded and video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the Cape May City website. The City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Roll call. Councilmember Baldwin.
Here.
Councilmember Meyer.
Here.
Mayor Mullock.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan.
Here.
Councilmember Yeager is absent. City Solicitor Gillen Schwartz.
Here.
City Manager Vall.
Here.
Deputy City Clerk Dillon.
Here.
Also present, we have Deputy City Manager Louis Belasco, Chief Financial Officer Neil Young, and City Auditor Leon Costello.
Thanks for being with us, gentlemen. And this will be an easy one for me, so I'll hand it right over to the City Manager.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members, Leon Costello, our CFO, our Police Chief, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to present the City of Cape May's fiscal year 2022 City Manager's budget. This budget was developed through a series of staff meetings, consultation with our CFO, Neil Young, Leon Costello. My office held public hearings and received requests from the department directors. Priorities were identified and the departmental requests were thoroughly reviewed. The proposed budget and expenditure levels are set at amounts necessary to continue the high level of municipal services that we provide here in Cape May to our residents, businesses, and visitors, while taking into consideration the cost of providing such services. In all years that I've served in municipal government, I've always strived to have a clean, safe, and caring community. And this is what we strive to provide here in Cape May City as your city manager. Providing a clean, safe, and caring community comes with cost. Keeping our community clean is the work of our Public Works Department, who works hard and diligently to keep our community clean. Our police department, our fire department, our emergency medical technicians, they keep us safe. And our dedicated municipal workers here at City Hall and in the other offices. For the total of 2022, overall budget comes in at $33,234,089.87. This amount is broken down into 4 funds as follows. The current fund $21,708,344.87. Water sewer utility, $7,317,805. The beach utility, $3,061,100. And the tourism utility at $1,146,840. This budget, as presented, comes again with no increase to the local purpose tax. It will allow the administration to expand upon certain city services and improve upon current services that we provide to our residents and visitors. The city officials, along with our staff, are very aware of the economic and fiscal challenges that face our residents and businesses. We're diligently working to provide the best and most efficient public services to our residents. To quickly summarize, I think it's important to know where the money comes from and where the money goes, and what's the goals for 2022. The interlocal agreements that we have provide services for West Cape May Point, for items such as police protection, EMS services, municipal court, and the construction office services. Taxation, historically minimal increases, and a second straight year of no increase. In the sewer, water, beach utility, the main revenues typically come from user fees and available surplus. Historically, the tourism utility, the main revenue sources were the room occupancy tax, tourism fees and events, mercantile license fees, lease and rent contracts, dealing with rents and weddings. And where the money goes? Well, we have employees. We have an open door policy with our employees to keep them happy and to see what their concerns are. We have 124 full-time year-round employees, 10 part-time year-round. In the season, we have 95 lifeguards, 71 beach taggers, 20 in public works, 13 Class 2 police officers, 1 addition in fire prevention, 2 in the court, 10 with tourism and civic affairs. So it's a total of 312 co-workers. In all funds, the main driving expenses are, of course, salary and wages, and related employment expenses, an example, the health benefits and pensions, and they keep going up. Other department expenses to facilitate proper operations and provide the public with a high level of services. Debt service that funds the capital improvements to improve our infrastructure and aesthetics of the city-owned properties. So my goals as manager this year, I'll just share a few, is we're going to start to convert where we can our gasoline vehicles to electric vehicles where it's practical. I know that the council's been wanting and working on having an address system, a public address system on the promenade for the entire beach and cameras, all for public safety. Public bathrooms adjacent to the convention hall and take them off the street. I know Lorraine's been working on that. Our city fire museum that the city owns, and city owns all the equipment in that building to be part of civic affairs, part of our tourism venue. I'm working with Casey on that. The complete restoration that Lou's been working on with the AME Church. That's coming along real nice. We're going to be designing a new police station, and go out to bid, and then start construction once we identify a good location where to put that. The Lafayette Street Park Recreation Play Area, hopefully to be built this year. I know it's a top level for this council to get that done, and we're working for a few more things to come into place so that we can get that started. And of course, to assist the council with all their appointed committees, work with the Business Improvement District and the Washington Street Mall and the MAC, continue our close relationship with our Coast Guard community, work with our veterans on all the public veterans events that we do throughout the year. We have to provide, and we're working on providing electric cars charging stations. So there's so many people now that are getting electric cars that come and visit our community, and we have to provide opportunities so they can charge those vehicles. The council's wants to widen the promenade, and that's been approved by council, and that's going to be going on this year. We want to upgrade our parking meters to be more efficient units. We've had issues In the past, Lou's been working on, and we've met with some people in that area to try to put a proposal together to council for a more efficient parking meters so that we're not having the downtime. Reconstruction of 4 streets. This council would like to have 4 streets a year average to be improved with all the underground utilities at the same time. We're currently working on one on New Jersey Avenue. With everything underground, the sewer lines, the water lines are all going to be placed before they cover that road back up. Improvements to the convention hall, the interior and the exterior, and we're cleaning up the landscaping in the front, and we're also going to provide more bike racks in the front there for the people that have been requesting it. Restructuring of some departments for efficiencies. Each department I look at and we try the way. The fiscal responsibilities, the managers evaluate all aspects of the city government for cost savings. All city-used vehicles are being evaluated if they're really needed. Purchase orders are being checked for best practices and prices, and I always ask that we look to purchase any product locally if we can. The employee overtime is monitored monthly to stay within the budget. Keeping an open relationship with the community, the manager's practice is an open door policy for all business committees and residents to address their requests and concerns. The city web page is constantly being updated with current events and activities. During the summer season, the manager continues to visit the mall, vendors, and businesses throughout the city to listen to their concerns, as I did last season. Excuse me. The continued infrastructure improvements, as said, the city is a very complex community with many services and being a historic designation. We're considering repaving. We must first evaluate, as I talked about, the undergrade of the sewer water infrastructure under the paved streets. Areas of the promenade need upgrades and some widening, which we addressed and we're working on. We're exploring options to expand our public address system and include security cameras, as mentioned. And there's also evaluation of parking areas throughout the city to better accommodate visitors, excuse me. So there's a 4% increase to the budget. However, we can cover the increases with our current revenue stream. The main drivers are, of course, health insurance, contractual obligations, promotions, and new hires. We generated about $1.5 million in surplus throughout the operations this year. If everything stays the same and we add these new expenses, we are still looking at adding $850,000 to surplus again in 2022. With adding on the new occupancy tax increase and the transient accommodation tax, we are conservatively right back to bringing in another $1.5 to $2 million or more in surplus 2022. With a zero increase, I repeat again, a zero increase into the local purpose tax. The theme from, I know as MTRAC, it's Municipal Taxation and Revenue Advisory Committee, was to better allocate expenses to the utilities. I believe these budgets started that process this year. We will continue to do so as the years go by. Personally, after completing 1 year dealing with COVID, seasonal health issues, as many communities have this year, and many confidential issues, all while continuing to provide essential services at the same time, being the city manager of a historic designated city is an awesome responsibility with many aspects. My office is very busy dealing with personnel issues, constituents' requests, and responding. We're always looking for more ways to make our government more efficient and effective in providing the very best services. I truly enjoy my responsibilities in having the ability to make positive changes and providing a clean, safe, and caring community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
And Mr. Mayor, Leon Costello is here to address any issues on the budget.
Okay. First off, thank you, Leon, and thank you, Neil, for your hard work on this. And I reiterate, I think the nice addition to our surplus, is a very nice increase, which is what we want to see. We had a good 2021, put some of that money into our surplus, and look to do it again in 22. So, before we go into questions, any comments that you'd like to add to the presentation?
Mayor, if I may, I just want to compliment the deputy mayor, because I've asked council in general, any questions before meetings, please send that request to my office. And she did that. And we're getting all your answers together for you. And
Yeah, I sent them to you, I think, on Monday. I still don't get any responses back.
Yeah, well,
Except for
that's what-
that you're working on it. But I thought some of these were actually pretty simple questions, which I didn't understand why they weren't answered.
they'll be answered. I'm working on getting all the answers. As I said in the email to you, before the introduction of the budget, you'll have everything answered that you requested.
Well, I
And
just
any
thought-
other council members
Yeah, I
have
just thought we
questions.
would have them by today, because some of my questions were, how many new positions are we adding to the budget?
Well, I
mean,
think we
these
should
weren't-
save that for the budget hearing, and that's the appropriate time to do it. But this
Well-
is not the public hearing tonight. But I will respond to all your questions, and you will be getting the answers. The whole council will get the answers.
I just thought they should have been responded to before this meeting. That was it.
The only thing I'd like to add is that if you look at your cover page, the front page, there's 2 cap laws you have to comply with. You are miles inside both caps. We could spend another $533,000 if we wanted to. We could raise another $1,247,000 in taxes if we wanted to. So we have no issues with the state. You are self-exam, so nothing's going to happen to this budget. You know, you get grants.
It hasn't even been introduced yet, so if we come up with some good ideas, maybe.
You know, as you get grants throughout the year, they'll be added to this budget, just like every other year.
Right.
And they're in as a revenue and in as expense, so they're neutral to the tax rate. You can see you added 36 million worth of new properties, or new value to the city. So all in all, there is, 15 positive points and no negative points.
That's great.
And it's important to point out as well, not only is there no increase to the local purpose tax, there's also no increase to any user fee as well. So the beach fees didn't increase, the water sewer fees didn't increase, and the local purpose tax didn't increase. So all three are staying steady while keeping a flat budget, and the appropriations are increasing. So we are using some of our other revenue sources to offset, but it shouldn't hurt any of our funds. So job well done to council for putting the right motions in place. The new user fees that M-Track suggested on the occupancy tax, that's going to help next year, as Mike mentioned. So this budget, in my opinion, is a home run, but ultimately up to council's approval.
Of which the introduction is going to be scheduled for March 15th.
Mr. Costello, your microphone. Thank you.
The introduction will be scheduled for March 15th, and the public hearing will be April 19th, at which time, since we have no state exam, unless there's a problem, we'll be adopting that night.
And what was that date, the adoption?
April 19th.
April 19th, okay.
They're normal meeting dates for you guys.
So, just to council, anybody wants to meet with city manager and CFO before the 15th, try to schedule, sit down. And Leon, of
Available
course,
to-
if you,
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I just have a question. When, as a council, are we going to discuss the budget? Because I think, it's nice that we meet one-on-one, but whatever questions I ask you, the others won't hear. And I think that's detrimental to us having been fully informed of everybody's questions concerning the budget. Like I said, I had asked these questions, which I was hoping for an answer tonight, but I guess I'm not going to get them. And one was, how many new promotions are being added to the budget this year? And what departments are these promotions in? This includes full-time, part-time, and seasonal. Another one was, please provide a list of the stipends that are planned to be given out this year, amount, and the job. And then I also noticed in the budget there is no money for the jitney. So I'm supposed to be putting together an RFP for something that there's no money in the budget for. So I don't want to be doing extra work that isn't necessary.
And just to clarify, there is money for the jitney, but we'll get you.
It wasn't in the budget.
It is,
It was zero.
It's a different area.
I don't want to get into the middle of it, but Mike will respond to all questions that were posed to us.
Is there any way, I understand what you're saying, Deputy Mayor, is there any way that once we individually meet with everyone, that like general notes can be taken so we can understand where every other council member is and share that?
Well, I don't know how this isn't being transparent. Usually when we have a discussion here, we ask questions and we get answers right when we ask the questions. That's being transparent too. Jerry was here, he did a presentation last year with Mike Vol, we asked questions when they did the presentation on the budget.
There's a process. The process is that the city manager presents it to city council. Now it's city council's working document. It's us to rip apart, put back together, discuss it as council members. We should put it on maybe as an agenda item.
I agree with you.
And now this is our document.
Right.
I agree with you totally, but that's what I was,
So this is the process. The process was the city manager hands the document to us, and now it's ours to work on with our professionals. This is not necessarily the time for questions and answers and discussions. It was just a presentation to
well,
the council
right,
from
but
city
you know, in the
manager.
past, they've always done a presentation where they put the numbers up on for people to see.
This is the process.
But we have done that process in the past.
And
Nothing
we're
right?
going to have the introduction, and at the introduction, it's not passed. We will be in a public meet, as you know, we can't meet privately and more than one person. So as a council, during the introduction, we will be able to discuss this and make changes, and we want to. So as the city manager has indicated, and I fully endorse, he's going to meet with every individual council member, answer every and all questions, which if you're not getting an answer, I want to know. I want everybody to have all of their questions answered, whether it has to be from Neil or Mike or Leon.
So do you think that, the questions we ask could be brought up again to the council meeting where we could actually ask them again and hear the answers so the public can hear the answers too? Because I think that's being more transparent than just meeting behind closed doors one-on-one and
But
answering
wait,
questions.
this isn't, that's how the budget's prepared, is behind closed doors, if you want to put it that way. We
No, it's not
have to prepare a budget.
I understand that, but we're not asking the questions in public. And that's where I think if we're going to have that introduction on the 15th and ask questions there or
that is-
reiterate the questions that were asked, I think I'm all for that. I think that'd be wonderful.
That's how it should be, yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
May I ask a question to the CFO and our auditor? In the past, when you went through this document, there was some highlights you went through. Could you do that, like some of the highlights of the packet?
and ultimately, if you guys decide to have a budget meeting of council, we could talk about everything at that meeting if you so chose. But it's ultimately council's decision how they want to see this move forward. This is the presentation as Mike presented, the budget document itself. We've provided all the supporting information. You've went through it. You can answer questions back. However council wants to see this move forward, I'm fully supportive of, and I know Mike would be as well.
And another thing to keep in mind is all the way up until April 19th, you can change every line item.
Right.
I mean, it's not, introduction only means that it's state introduction. It's open to the state as far as your budget is concerned, and it's open to the public.
Do we have like a drop dead date when it comes to if we had to do a second, a reintroduction, because it was something so different or whatever?
Realistically, the end of May, because you have
Okay.
to get tax bills out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments, council?
I would just like to point out that it does seem that we anticipate some increases in revenue, so, that's a good sign. I think as a city council that we should be pay very close attention to what's going on nationally and internationally because of the president's speech. I think, when it comes to energy resources, going to electric is probably the best thing moving forward in any way. But, I think the signs are out there that there's going to be more expenses, things are going to go up in expense, and we have to look out for that coming up in this next year or so.
Yeah,
wanna say-
definitely,
It's-
definitely.
It's a big thing going on out
It
there.
is.
One last thing is the governor does his state of the budget on March 8th,
Okay.
which is originally you were looking to try to do March 1st for introduction. I said, let's just wait till the 15th and see what he has to say.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone okay with that? Yeah. Okay.
If we're ready
I
to
think
move on, Mayor, we have a public portion next.
Okay.
Yep.
And actually, on that, Mr. Meyer, I think all the more, this shows a lot of hard work. Everybody sees prices going up and inflation going up everywhere. So to be able to introduce it at a 0% increase, I think is and add to the surplus and a lot of good projects are in here. I think, that will be in here, I think is a really good thing, so.
The one last thing for council, in the back of your budget binder, all I did was copy all of the capital requests from the departments. So now we'll work on providing a list, so it's a little easier for you to read like that.
I was gonna-
Yeah,
last year's
yeah, I just ran out of
budget.
time on that one, so I'll work with Mike's office on creating a list of the department requests, and then you guys work on a list of things that city council would like to see improved, and we'll marry the two together to come up with the final product.
So it's going to be like you did last year?
Exactly, yeah.
That was my other question.
Yeah, I ran out of time on that one.
That's a nice list.
I do need that by the 15th.
Okay.
Because that's going to be part of the actual budget
Right.
document, yeah.
Okay, we'll open up for public comment.
Sure. Anybody interested in publicly commenting, please come up to the podium at this time.
Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment.
Any comments from council before adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you all very much. Thank you, and we'll be in contact soon, set up some meetings, and continue with the process. All right, thank you very much.
Time is 5:26.